think every mom's dream when your kid is 2 years old is to take them to dance class. So we started at Star Studio Dance, and we took ballet, tap, jazz, things like that. We didn't start off with hip hop, and then, I don't know, we loved it. I mean, everyone loves it when they're little, but Katie and I, we just had this absolute passion for it when we were little. I remember standing there at the window watching my dance teacher and trying to copy her exactly what she was doing, and we never wanted to leave, and it was just always so much fun, and we just developed this passion together, and so we always just kept dancing together. Like, no matter what, we had to be together.
First day, I remember going to the dance store and just picking out my entire outfit. I remember my blue leotard. Everyone's was pink at the time, but I loved blue. And then I had like these frilly things like coming off my tutu, and I was just so super excited to just get in there and just wear my outfit and just do my thing. I just remember even from like a young age that when I was dancing, it was always just so exciting, and it was always so much adrenaline, and I couldn't explain that feeling when I was younger. I didn't quite understand it, and I didn't understand why I was so excited. I'll never forget that first car ride when we were sitting there, and it's just this awkward silence of like what to expect. We would go to preschool, and then we would change together, then we'd hop in the car, and my babysitter Paula would drive us over there. And I remember walking down the stairs for the first time and looking around and seeing like all this equipment and all this stuff, and hearing like there was like 3 different studios. Actually, no, there were 2 different studios, and I remember hearing like these older girls from this one studio, and I remember looking in. They were doing jazz or something, and I just remember this girl leaped so high, and all I wanted to be able to do was just leap as high as this girl. I remember these older girls, they did this trio. I think one of their names was like Zoe or something, but they did this one move, and I don't know, I really distinctly remember this move, and I distinctly remember this trio. And we would call, like Rachel and I would call them our future babysitters, because all we wanted them to do was babysit us every single day and dance with them. Watching these girls as my role models totally benefit me, because like, other than my dancing, yes, in class I would push myself even harder to be like them. And I saw how hard they worked and what they achieved, and all I wanted to do was be as good as them, if not surpass their capabilities. So it definitely taught me to keep working and working and working, and that, you know, a lot of the time, like, they would come in on Fridays and just be busting their butt for a competition that's months away, but they're busting their butt to be able to like make this perfect and cut the music so that it's not all right, but absolutely like on the dot, just so. And so watching that perfection really made me strive for perfection in basically everything I did, but especially with my dancing. I think it was like in third grade, second or third grade, we were going across the floor and we were just doing a very basic hip hop move, and Jamie's assistant turned to me after class and she said, "Have you danced before? Have you ever done this kind of a class before?" And I said no, and she said, "I would really like for you to stick with this, and I'd like to see you grow and mature as a dancer. There's something in you." And I was really excited when she told me that, because I had no idea like what that even meant. But as the year progressed, I remember her meeting with me again and saying, let's take necessary steps to make you grow even further, because where you've grown already has already been so much and tremendous. Let's take this a step further. And I know that a lot of dance studios really push their students to do hip hop along with lyrical and ballet and tap and jazz. But for me, something about just the drive to do hip hop, I don't know, I was just insane for it. I still am. Later in life, I realized I have like a total learning disability. I have a little learning disability, and it's basically spatial relation issues. So being able to count something out and do it across the room, if you did it once, you could do it a million times, I would never know it. But if you put it to the song first and say like, kick like a cotton ball, and do that at the same time, I'll always know to kick like a cotton ball. It's just, I can't do counts, which is kind of weird. But I always had trouble picking things up, but through dancing and keeping with it and sticking to it and always working on being able to do that and remembering the moves and memorizing how to go across the floor, it taught me so much. It taught me so much as a person to keep with things.
When we got older, we just wanted to try different things, and we switched studios on and off. We went to other places, and we met Liz. We met our dance teacher Liz, who we started with when we were 2. We lost touch with her, and then when we got to 3rd grade, we got back with her, and that's when we really started getting into hip hop and taking harder hip hop classes, and that was just what we loved to do. And I mean, we didn't have the time necessarily to keep taking all those other classes, because we grew up, we played soccer, we played lacrosse, so we were so busy that we just had to stick with what we really loved to do. So we took hip hop, and that was just what we stuck with and what we put our time into.
Yes, triumphant. It can be done. Yes, turn up, turn up. Kanye called. Northwest. What did he want? He wants us to produce a music video. With what budget? $10 million. What should we spend the money on? The story. Forget the story. We should spend the money on a chain. 2 chains. Wow.
Tired of waiting for your buyers to find the right home? Let them experience your listing with a cinematic video from Abode Visuals. Abode Visuals. Sell quick.
Picking up choreography has definitely always been something, like it's still always that like spatial relation and like timing has always been really, really hard for me. So getting into freestyles and stuff has always been more my thing, where my dance partner Rachel is more very strict and more, not robotic, but more choreography based. So Rachel can count 8s no problem, like bump, 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 bump. And me, I do everything lyric based. So when I hear the sound or recognize the beat, I can recognize the beat, but whatever the artist is saying, I try and convey and tell the story of.
We move exactly the same way for some really weird reason. We do moves exactly the same. So hip hop was just perfect for us. I mean, the music and just the beat, and I mean, hip hop, there's always a story to tell with hip hop. I mean, people come from bad areas, good areas, and like hip hop is just something that people can do, and everyone comes together and just shares their passion of dancing.
I've been learning like New York choreography since I was in 3rd grade. So like Beyonce's music video, whatever, her last thing, the Rhapsody choreographed. I think it was like Get Me Bodied or something. Rhapsody actually came to the studio and she taught me and Rachel and a couple of other girls one of their dances. And I just remember when we were little, we were being like, oh my God, like we have this unbelievable opportunity and we can go to New York and take these classes. So the choreography element, being really, really tough choreography from a young age, was just a tremendous leg up. And if we didn't know if we wanted to be a part of this industry or use hip hop in our life, but that from a young age totally gave us a leg up to now. Hip hop to me is just so special because it's different than all the other aspects and art forms of dance, because ballet is harsh and perfecting someone else's moves that were done a bajillion years ago in like the 1800s, and you're like on your toes and dying. And it's absolutely incredible, and not to downplay how unbelievable it is. It's not evolving. Hip hop is constantly, I mean, we know that with culture and with hip hop music, constantly evolving. So whether it's R&B or rap or whatever you're dancing to, or just something with a great beat, which is like becoming a little more dubsteppy now, our music is constantly changing, and that completely affects hip hop, because hip hop like is a combination of martial arts and all these other different types of dances and gymnastics almost. So when you combine that and the music, constantly changing. So you're not perfecting someone else's art, you're kind of taking theirs and using their inspiration to make your own. And what I love about hip hop is that, you know, you're looking in the mirror and you're not perfecting yourself, you're making your flaws and you're highlighting them to make them cooler. You're exaggerating those flaws because your movements are so different than someone else's, or you can make them in sync and make them so perfectly precise, but it's your own, it's you.
Liz has just completely inspired us to just keep doing what you're doing no matter what is going on in your life. Dance is always there to bring people together, to help you. She created this community for us and this passion for us.
I like gained this tremendous amount of weight, I think in 7th grade, so like during my like bat mitzvah era. And I just remember that being really, really hard for me. And I'll never forget, I was made fun of at school. These two awful boys like called me like thunder thighs or whatever, because I had like really muscular legs from like all this dancing. And they called me thunder thighs, and whenever I walked or like to turn in a paper, they would be like gagung, gagung, gagung. And I'll never forget this, like one day it made me so angry. And I always, you know, whenever I had something awful happen to me, I always turned to dance. So through any hardship or any heartache, it was always dancing that I turned to. And I remember that day that they like made fun of me and like tore me down to pieces, and I was so upset. I'll never forget, I just went in my basement, I shut the door, and like after crying it out, I just danced for hours. I danced and danced and danced for hours. And I think all that like negative energy that they like threw at me kind of empowered me to way overpass them. And I think looking at that now as a mature adult, I can see that all that energy fed me and made me just that much better at dancing and pushed me that much harder at everything else that I do. So I think once that was established, the like muscular legs and that whole thing like wasn't even a problem. I just pushed myself to my limit dance-wise, and then like the weight kind of shed off.
Hi, I'm Sheldon Bartlett-Rumor, and this is it.
I've always said to Rachel, we must do something with dance. I want to like be on TV. I want to do something. Let's do something. But I think in 8th grade, we read this book called 11 Seconds, and it was written by Travis Roy. It's about Travis Roy and his experience of how he becomes paralyzed. So in the first 11 seconds of his first collegiate hockey game, he is paralyzed from the neck down in this awful freak accident. His head hit the boards, and his life completely changed. So he wrote a book about this entire experience, and we read it in 8th grade, and I think, you know, everyone really processed that and took it in, but I think Rachel and I really processed that at dance class, especially when we looked at each other and we were like, can you imagine not being able to move our bodies from our neck down? Like, what would we do? Who would we be? So you know, we wanted to help out, and our entire 8th grade class put together this fair, and all of the money that we raised went toward the Travis Roy Foundation. We made these duct tape bows. But we wanted to do, and we raised the most money out of everyone in the grade, which was really, really exciting, our group. But we realized, you know, that other than just raising a couple $100s, we wanted to raise a lot of money for this foundation, and we wanted to do it through something that we loved. So, you know, we didn't necessarily know how to connect all these things, but we knew that we were passionate about them. And I think that it didn't really register for me, at least, until this one day when I injured my back in dance. And I was sent to get an MRI by the doctor. And, you know, just like for precautionary measures, just to make sure that everything would be okay. And my back, I just remember it killing me, and I remember being so nervous, like, I hope everything's okay, I hope nothing's wrong, and I hope that I'll just be able to get into dance class next week. So I went into the MRI machine, and you take off like all this metal jewelry and whatnot, and they put you like in this spaceship, and you're in this gown, and it's so claustrophobic in there, like it's so tight. And I remember putting in these earphones, and the technician asked me what favorite radio station I would like to listen to, so I was like 96.5, and my song was on. It was Beyonce, like belting Crazy in Love, and so like her like pounding like with the beat of the magnets over me, I just like couldn't not dance. So I was just like completely still there, and it was just this awful, unbelievable feeling, and I'll never forget it because I couldn't even hold still for 45 minutes. And I can't imagine like having to hold still, because my mind was telling my body not to move. But being completely out of control and having your body just completely limp like that for the rest of your life, could not imagine that. So I remember calling Rachel immediately after that MRI and saying, wow, I can't imagine having to be like this for 45 weeks or months or years or forever.
We've grown up, our parents have taught us helping people, you need to do that no matter what point in life, no matter what age you are, it's always important to help people. So when we found Travis Roy Foundation, it didn't really click right away that that is what we wanted to do, but when we kept thinking about dance and giving back to the community, and when our YouTube videos took off, we somehow just remembered Travis Roy Foundation, and then it just seemed perfect that we should give back to people who can't do what we do right now, but when we dance and when we do what we love to do, we are helping them, and eventually they'll be able to dance with us.
So I think that injury led a lot of great inspiration to why we decided to help out the Travis Roy Foundation. So what did we do? We got together one night at Nick's Pizza, and we were debating over this title, because we knew we wanted to make a nonprofit, and we knew we wanted to help the Travis Roy Foundation, but we had no idea what we wanted to call it. We wanted to incorporate hip hop, we wanted to incorporate people, young and old. We didn't know what to do. So we decided to use something with our initials, because like, I mean, my whole life I've always kind of been KP, and I call Rachel RG sometimes. So we were like, KPRG, what will that stand for, what will it be? So we decided to come up with this thing called Keep Revolutionizing Movement, KPRG movement for short. And so the idea is to keep revolutionizing movement for people who can't move. So our whole mission statement is to revolutionize hip hop through our unique style and choreography, but to revolutionize movement in general for people that can't move, so that people who can't move will one day be able to dance with us. So the whole idea behind this is sending out not only a positive message, but also raising money. How do we do that? So basically, we put together this one video on YouTube, and my camp friend was like, yo, I'm gonna send this out to a couple of my friends, like, let's see where this goes.
And we started putting YouTube videos online years ago, and we did not tell our parents, because our parents were really against it. And slowly as we got older, they just came to know about it, and they didn't really have a problem with it. But then we had this one video to a song by Nicki Minaj, Stupid Ho, and for some reason, it just took off, and we got hundreds of thousands of views, and then we got 1 million views, and now we've hit 2 million views. So that video really showed us that we needed to do something.
Holmes, what you doing tonight?
Nothing, chilling, pooping, peeing, leaking my...
Yo, we should throw a party! Invite all our friends!
But how, yo?
Have it through the Power Plus!
No way, Holmes.
They're the best party planners ever!
No way.
For real?
No way, huh?
Let's log on right now and get the party started!
Sounds good, huh?
Cool! Power applause! Celebrate!
And the next thing we know, within a year's time, we had over 1 million views on YouTube, and we realized that, like, wow, all these hits that generated something, and we don't know what. So we need to use YouTube and incorporate that in some key way to be able to spread this message. I mean, if a million views, or like if people are really watching us, then we might as well give them something to be talking about and something to say and something positive and a great message to send. So we decided to link our YouTube account to this thing called Fullscreen. And Fullscreen is a larger network, a part of YouTube that's linked with this thing called World of Dance. So through the World of Dance network, we are linked with Fullscreen and basically all that hodgepodge. Basically, what that enables us to do is to monetize our YouTube videos, and all that money that we make on YouTube from views or clicks or campaigns that we're a part of and advertising for other companies, we give directly to our charity. So all that money directly goes to KPRG. That's one source that we use for generating money for our charity. Another way we make a lot of money is we created this t-shirt called, with our original logo on it, with the help of Jason Wittenstein. He's an awesome graphic designer. He really helped us out. We created this and we decided to print it on. We started with t-shirts, then we went to tank tops, and we just came out with our new logo with like the Lady Liberty holding it. But basically all that money also goes directly to KPRG movement, and then wearing it, people are always like, well, what is that? Like, explain it to me. And so we have our website on the back, and if you click on that, it takes you directly to what I'm telling you now and explains everything. We're planning a lot of different dance workshops, so we'll teach like younger kids like for an hour or 2 hours, and then all the money that's generated from them paying us goes directly to our nonprofit also. And then also what we did was we linked with another organization called Positive Tracks, and what they do is they're basically a giant pool of money, and they linked to us, and so now all the money that we make is doubled through them, because if you're under 21 and they're interested in your project, they'll double all of your money. So, you know, if you're paying $15 for a shirt, it's really raising $30 for our organization, which has been really, really cool and really, really awesome. And Travis Roy himself actually set that up and interacted with us, and through emails and phone calls, we were really able to tap into so many different resources that we're able to help and just spread our message. And so I think the possibilities, you know, were limited at one point, but they're just expanding every single second that we're just spreading our message and promoting, and we're learning so much in the process about people and humans in general, and literally just the art of communicating with other people is just something, you know, whether that's dance or talking or, you know, just getting your message out there through social media has been incredibly helpful in learning how human beings interact with one another. It's actually been incredible.
What's going on, world? You're watching the Music Video Cypher. I'm your host, Alex Faven.
Music Cypher.
So once we shied away from competition, we really honed in on KPRG movement and perfecting dance for us as an art as a whole, and perfecting our capabilities and where they could possibly go. And so, you know, it was really hard to leave competition and leave that whole element behind, but so glad that I did, because I grew so much as a dancer and it taught me so much. And so instead of, you know, going to practice to learn the dance, now I'm able to be the teacher and teach the dance for these competitions. So very cool, kind of came full circle. It was a really cool experience. I plan on taking KPRG and doing some sort of Penn State chapter with it that incorporates, I know the major thing at Penn State is Thon, so some type of Thon, KPRG thing, dance, I want to bring it there. Maybe some type of club, but I want to definitely continue the t-shirt sales for sure and continue to make videos, you know, separate and together with Rachel whenever I can. And I know she plans on doing the same thing at Michigan as well.
And I don't know what's going to happen next year when we go to college. We'll tell all of our new college friends about it. I'm sure we'll meet people who love this kind of stuff and will want to get involved and want to get interested, and we can both start some type of organization at our two huge schools, Penn State, Michigan, two of the biggest schools in the country. I mean, we can bring this and make it huge and have people get involved who have passions for this type of thing and have passion for dance, passion for just giving back to the community. And I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't continue it.
You put yourself out there enough, you'll learn so much from that eventually you will totally be where you want to be. And you know, like, sports are awesome and incredible, but because you're not like singing and there's like no fear, there's like not that fear of like rejection. It's like you're playing sports, you have a plan, there's someone to pass the ball to. Like in this field of like art and creativity, you're constantly like inventing yourself or showing you, but just don't be afraid. That's definitely my advice.
Absolutely. KPRG, 100%. Friendship, 100%. That will never end.